What's going on, everyone? My name is Mutation, and today we will be talking about chip damage in fighting games and why I think it's inherently unhealthy for fighting games. In this video, we will be talking about some mechanics of it, how different games handle it, a whole section on chip kills, and some of its consequences in a verdict. Before we begin, I wanted to note that this is my opinion, and I'm not an expert on fighting games and had to do some research prior to writing this script. Without further ado, let's get this started. So, what is chip damage? For those unaware, chip damage is the often minuscule damage you take from an attack while blocking it. For example, this picture of Ryu blocking Ken Todoken causes a small amount of chip damage. Fighting games all handle chip damage differently, and I'll dive deeper into that in my next segment. But to summarize some key differences, some fighting games allow you to die by chip damage while others don't, and some allow you to recover health from chip damage while, again, others don't. That's just a couple key differences though. Now, let's dive deeper into how different games handle it. I'm going to sort this section into two categories: recoverable chip and, well, unrecoverable chip. To start, let's talk about the main traditional fighter, Street Fighter, or in this case, Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V allows you to recover health from chip damage taken from medium and heavy attacks, but doesn't allow recovery from special and super attacks, whereas Dragon Ball FighterZ, an anime fighter, handles it drastically differently. Every chip hit you take causes you to have blue health, which can be recovered slowly by tagging out the character, or be recovered quickly through Sparking Blast. Other fighting games, however, do not allow you to restore any kind of chip damage, namely games such as Mortal Kombat 11 and Guilty Gear Strive. Both games allow chip kills as well, which is something we will dive into the next section. In many fighting games, it's possible to outright die from chip damage, known as chip kills. However, each game handles it very differently. To name a few examples, Street Fighter V allows a chip kill at the expense of meter, and Mortal Kombat 11 allows survival of 2 or more hits while blocking, known as Last Breath, at the expense of defensive meter. Guilty Gear Strive often allowed these kills outright with no caveat to the offensive player whatsoever. That's some examples, so let's talk about the big problems with all of this, and especially chip kills. To start, let's refer back to my first chip kills example with Street Fighter. The intention of this change makes it so any player using it to finish a round will be at a fairly significant meter disadvantage in future rounds. However, in a final round with only a singular kill needed to win, this can be really cheap as there's no real way to dodge these attacks effectively, so it's basically a free win. In MK11, Last Breath is alright as a mechanic, but in Mortal Kombat 11, it's really misplaced due to the fact that many specials that can inflict chip damage are multi-hit. So oftentimes, Last Breath doesn't even really come into play. In Strive, you just die outright from any chip damage at all, which is super frustrating in a more fast-paced game where many attacks are being thrown out. It's nearly impossible to get past all the hits. Transitioning to just chip damage as a whole now, I think most games handle chip damage pretty well except for Dragon Ball. Sparking Blast, though only being that once per game mechanic, can be extremely annoying when it comes to the speed and amount of health being recovered at any given point. Especially when down to one character, Sparking Blast duration makes it feel almost impossible to land that final hit on the opponent. Yes, their blue health goes down the more you combo them, but it can feel pretty frustrating. Additionally, a ton of health can be recovered through Sparking, like I said before. It almost feels like a somewhat free, if toned down, Shenron, the reward for getting all the Dragon Balls. And everything in Mortal Kombat 11 deals chip damage, which can lead to the problems I mentioned above rather quickly. It's kind of a mess, to be honest. So, what do I think should be done? Honestly, remove chip kills completely from every fighting game. It's oftentimes rather cheap and mismanaged in fighting games, and honestly, I don't think any solution really feels right. There are ways to get around blocker or force out options that make your opponent attack you and let down their guard, which, if you have any fighting game experience whatsoever, shouldn't be hard to pull off. Chip damage as a whole is honestly fine, and Sparking Blast, though I harped on it a lot, it's mostly okay as a comeback mechanic and as a way to handle chip damage. That's about all I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, comment, and sub. Any support at all is appreciated. Wherever you are, have an amazing day, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.